Hey Tyler, just calling to let you know, it's time.
It's time for what?
Against my better judgment, we're reviewing The Sandlot 2.
We're gonna review The Sandlot 2?
Yeah, so if you could just get over here as soon as you can, that'd be great.
Oh, Steven. This is a voice recording, by the way. Okay, either I'm busy or I just don't want to do the review with you. Okay, leave your message after the beep.
Haha, Tyler, very funny. Yeah, that was a pretty good joke, I'll admit. Okay, look, just call me back as soon as you can, let me know if you can do the review or not.
Oh, okay. I made the beep with my computer. Okay, no, this is serious. Leave your message.
I'm going to murder you in your sleep. Meet me at the baseball field after I'm done with the review. By myself. Again. Let's just get this over with. It pains me to say that this is a movie I once found honest enjoyment in. As the years have gone by and my tastes have changed, I've realized how blatant and stupid The Sandlot 2 is compared to its vastly superior predecessor. Don't get me wrong, I knew it was a ripoff from the very beginning, but you say you were young and foolish, but you never realize just how much until you get older. So we start off with a recap, narrated by the same guy who played narrator Smalls in the first movie. This only serves to remind us of the great legend that was the first Sandlot movie, a quality that we won't be getting in its second inning.
It began with the retrieval of the Great Ball. Stolen by the beast, the monster poured into its possession his slobber and his will to dominate all who trespassed his land. But there were some who resisted. An alliance of neighborhood kids banded together and fought for possession. Hercules, the beast, enemy of all free kids, was finally defeated.
Then we get more signs of a bad sequel by cutting to 10 years later, 1972, and getting introduced to Johnny, the younger brother of Smalls.
I was the only one that knew anything about it. My name is Johnny Smalls.
If you're astonished at the lack of creativity they had by replacing Smalls with Smalls, just wait till you meet the other characters. Replace Benny with David, Ham with Mac, DeNunez with Tarkel, Timmy and Tommy with Saul and Sammy. That leaves Squints, Bertram, and Yaya to be replaced by girls, Jenny, Penny, and Haley. How dare you replace them with girls who—
Sexist?
Did they really just say sexist in a sentence? Look, no, that's not the point. I didn't get to finish my sentence. If you're going to replace the other characters with archetypes, at least be consistent. Even if they are girls, just get girls who are archetypes of the original characters.
Sexist?
Shut up!
Dizzy. I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning like a whirlpool.
You're supposed to say, I'm sorry. Earth to boy. You're really fast. Thanks.
Really? You have him spend like 2 seconds on the ground picking up papers and that's how you establish that he's fast? This is a movie about baseball. Why not just establish him as the fastest or most skilled runner in a game of baseball? Like, I don't know, this! Since it's 1972, we get treated to some forced 1970s dialogue.
Solid. Still have a huge problem in case all you bozos forgot.
Before they start heading to the Sandlot. I wish I could tell you who that guy is, but the movie doesn't for another hour. When they get to the Sandlot, they see that Johnny has yet to drop his brother's nerdy tendencies. Simply put, he's got a thing for rockets. Any idiot could tell it's not a weapon, but when these idiots see it...
Oh my god. He's one of them. He's gonna blow up the Sandlot. Get him!
We have to get him. Holy crap! Ah!
Johnny runs to Haley for protection and the boys try to get him, but she's not having it.
Why don't you pick on someone your own size?
What are you doing here?
I live here.
You live here? Next to the Sandlot?
Look, I don't know anything about a sandlot, whatever that is, but this is private property and you're trespassing. Be here tomorrow early. Why? I saved your life. Now you have to do exactly what I say. Do I have to rake the whole field?
For those of you who haven't seen anything of this movie, she's interested in the field because she's a softball player, as are her two friends. And for those of you who haven't seen the trailer or this movie, I envy you, you lucky bastards. Then we get to the first part in this movie where I can point out why girls in a Sandlot film is a bad idea. There's a much bigger offense to that, but I'll talk about it later. This movie is set in the 70s, which was apparently a time where feminism was being laid on pretty thick.
Oh, hi, Daddy.
Hey, sweetheart.
Roger, you know referring to Haley with frilly nicknames is sexist. Negatively impacts her developing self-esteem. Now, she is every bit the equal of a male child.
Right. Sorry, sorry there, buddy.
Oh, that is much better. Mwah. I gotta go.
Look, let me be clear. I don't mind the idea of women trying to break into baseball, a male-dominated sport, and possibly showing them up. I don't mind that idea. But the way they portray feminism in this movie is just laid on so annoyingly. They try to tell us that names like Sweetie or Pumpkin are sexist if you use them on a girl. And they constantly put the dad in the corner because he doesn't quite get it. We don't need any of that crap. Would you just play some damn baseball? The next day, the gang comes back in the afternoon to play some damn baseball, only to find a few unsettling changes.
They turned the dugout into a dollhouse.
We have as much right to play here as you do.
Play what?
Baseball?
That's a softball, squishy, for girls. This is a baseball, what men play with.
Then what are you doing with one?
Okay, that wasn't bad.
This is not a baseball. It's a softball. My 3-year-old sister can hit this grapefruit with a souvenir Dodger pack. And if you pitch it 60 miles an hour.
One of the most iconic scenes from the first movie was the one where they were throwing insults back and forth at each other. So why does this one suck so badly? There certainly wasn't a lot of thought behind the jokes in the original movie, but at least they were passionate and performed well.
I bet you couldn't hit it.
Whoa.
I don't bet trash. I burn it.
Okay, those two weren't bad.
I'll bet I can strike him out with 3 pitches. If I do, we stay, you leave. If I don't, you stay, we'll leave.
You're serious.
Like Gloria Steinem.
Unfortunately, Mac underestimates their hidden talents and gets his first strike. They scramble for a bit, but fail.
You can't do that underhand pitch thing. It's against the rules of baseball. I'm just telling you.
No, it's not. There's no rule against it. So it's legal and fair.
So David goes in to pinch hit.
Excuse me, what are you doing?
Pinch hitting. It's legal and fair.
Burn!
Yeah, totally legal and fair.
And the moment's gone.
Whoa, watch it. Foul ball. Foul ball.
Foul ball.
You know, guys, the bet was 3 strikes with 3 pitches, and Haley has already pitched countless more than that. But alas, the parents call the kids in, and they have to resume their little feud another day.
Fine. Tomorrow then, little baby.
Count on it, spoiled brat.
This movie's caught sequelitis, people. Be very afraid. They return to the Sandlot where the girls are waiting the next day, and Johnny is sent over to talk to them.
Payback time, little turd.
It was an accident.
You wrecked our field. Now your ass is grass.
What? I cleaned it up. I made it better.
Singleton told you to wreck the field. Why'd you clean it up?
Who's Singleton?
Little League team captain? The guy who told you to mess up the Sandlot so we'd leave and him and his team could take it for practice?
Sir, I don't know no Singleton, and I don't know nothing about no Little League, and I don't play baseball.
Then what are you doing in the movie? After some petty whining from the boys telling the girls to leave using Smalls as a messenger pigeon, they reconcile the play together so that the Sandlot kids don't lose the Sandlot to this Singleton kid. Seeing how douchey kids are, I'm not looking forward to seeing this guy.
Look, guys, the Sandlot retard!
As you can see, this movie aims to continue its streak of brilliant insults.
You guys bring your sisters to watch some real ball players?
Shut your mouth, Singleton.
Actually, they're here to watch me wipe home plate with that mop you call your hair. Gomer Pyle, hippie. Shut up, Porky. You already said that, idiot. Yeah, well, you're still fat, moron.
And here is the part I was talking about. This is how the most iconic line of the Sandlot franchise is destroyed. Somewhere along the line, somebody thought it would be pure genius if a ball-playing girl responds,
Yeah, but you play ball like a girl.
Excuse me? What did you say?
You heard me.
Friday. The Sandlot. Be there, male chauvinist pig.
Count on it, tomboy.
oh god, this Singleton kid reminds me of kids I used to go to high school with. Even looks like one of them. Except as far as my knowledge goes, their jackass levels did not go anywhere near that high. Come on, man! Have some decency! An ounce! A pinch!
You're out.
Thankfully, this leads to a very obvious yet very satisfying response from David.
That's what she gets.
Sandlot's ours. Forever. Don't mess with my teammates. You never ever hit a girl, creep.
Then we're on to the next scene.
The nightmare started 1 week later when Mac got a new kind of bat for his birthday. It was made of aluminum.
Then we see a bit of sequelitis reversal. Everyone tries to go get the ball, and only Johnny tries to stop them.
What are you all doing? What are we all doing? Smalls, you're the one freaking out.
Johnny, what in the hell are you babbling about?
The Great Fear! Spawned by the beast. Go over there real slowly and look through that old dryer.
What does that mean? The Great Fear.
It's a long story.
Bivouac.
I didn't mention this before, but Mac has a military-style running joke throughout this movie. So they have their little gathering, and Johnny Smalls tells the story of the Great Fear.
All those who know this tale have grown up and left the neighborhood, but my brother Scotty was there. He told me the main stuff. A kid named Benny, the Jet, Rodriguez, battled the Beast, a dog named Hercules, to get back a baseball worth about $1 million. Benny won. Hercules got old and died. Where his story ends is where the story of the Great Fear begins. Around 6 years ago, before he died, Hercules made some baby dogs. One pup was different. He had big feet and big teeth, and he didn't like no one. The little kid moved into the neighborhood, and he was 6 years old, and his favorite hero was a rapid rocket. So the little kid believed he was as fast as a speeding rocket.
Which means that whenever they get to the part of the end where they have to run from this dog, it has to be somebody associated with speed. Just in case you couldn't figure it out, it's David.
chained the Great Fear up to a battleship anchor so he could never get out again. And never fight kids no more. And on account of being chained up forever, the Great Fear's brain got twisted, and he went insane. And that's why he still digs, because there's no way out. But he believes there is.
Why didn't they just put the dang dog down? Actually, you know what? I take that back. The beast straight up killed people, supposedly, so I guess it wouldn't be much of a reason to put this dog down just for biting one kid. We're treated to some slight more sequelitis.
Benny would have played ball all day, all night, rain, shine, tidal wave, whatever. Baseball was the only thing he cared about. But of all the things we ever did besides baseball, going to the pool was what he tolerated best.
Aren't you going to go swimming?
No, it's stupid. Girls ruin everything.
Oh, great. We're forcing this romance, aren't we? Should have known that they stuck girls in this for the sake of more than just one joke.
I thought he'd like me. What's the matter with me?
Oh, Tiger, there was absolutely nothing wrong with you. You were perfect. Look, you just remember this. A woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle.
What a friggin' hypocrite! First of all, Haley wouldn't be there if it weren't for the help of Haley's dad. That's kind of a necessity. And second, Haley's mom wouldn't be seen there giving the advice to Haley because Haley would have never been born without her dad. What kind of sick metaphor are you trying to tell her? Moving on, a subplot reintroduces itself to the story. One where Haley's dad promised Johnny the chance to help out on launching a large, elaborate model rocket of his. Then the gang gets together to see the dad on TV, and Johnny finds out he works for NASA. And the rocket launch by him was a very important development for that. The gang sees the damage done to the Sandlot, and then...
It's not a UFO, meathead. Wait, is it?
It looks exactly like...
Hello, world.
Johnny, please tell me you didn't set off my dad's rockets. It was an accident, I swear!
I can think of no more appropriate time in this movie than right now to use this clip.
You're killing me, Smalls!
Just like in the first film, they try to get it back. And also just like in the first film, all their attempts backfire. Casualties of this plot include Mac's aluminum bat and the hair on Haley's cat. Good lord, it's one thing to act too feministic, but come on! What's more, Scott Smalls from the first movie always struck me as a kid who had a pretty good head on his shoulders. So when he was telling Johnny the story of the beast and how Benny pickled it, did he purposefully leave out the part where he said, "But Mr. Myrtle was a nice old man all along and we could have just knocked on the door and he would have gotten it back for us"? Or you know what? Maybe Smalls saw this as an integral part of childhood, making stupid mistakes and learning from them. Good on you, Smalls, good on you. It's because of you that this sequel is happening. Finally, the kid who has shown up multiple times but has remained shrouded in mystery shows up and introduces himself.
They call me the Retriever. When I was little, my frisbee went over a neighbor's fence. I retrieved it, but their dog used it as a chew toy and ruined it. So I took his name tag. It's what I do. I'm a retriever. The Great Fear is the ultimate challenge. I want that dog tag. And I'll get your Shoto back too. Deal?
Such a tortured past. Such a vengeful spirit. This guy is lame. He had like a Boba Fett type build up to him, and that is all they give us? Some kid who got his frisbee chewed up? You know what? Of course he lands there. The Great Fear is known for being as courteous as Rothbart was in Swan Princess when he was fighting Derek. And what's more, if we're meant to believe that the Great Fear is attacking this kid, then why is there not even like a little rip in his clothes or something? Whatever. Mac puts it best.
But our work here is done. Badly. We're done.
And now, since we're at the part where all is lost, David has to step in.
I thought he'd come back. Because, you know, I thought he...
Never mind. Forget it. It's stupid.
It's not stupid. He does.
Does what?
Likes you.
He does?
Duh.
So with new shoes and all, David goes to conquer, time for a twist, his childhood fear. That's right, David was the little kid that got bitten by the great fear when he was younger. He even has his little cute rapid rocket cape to remind him of that. You know, if that were me, I would want something like that burned with its ashes spread in 5 separate junkyards just to make sure it would never haunt me again. You are aware dogs are not bulls, right? They're completely colorblind. Then he hooks in the shuttle and hits the ground running, the great fear right behind him.
Oh, shit!
Unfortunately, in his heroics, David is somewhere under that mess.
He's 6 feet down at least. He's gonna suffocate. The tunnel collapsed. He's at the bottom. He's at the
What suddenly motivated the great fear to be a good guy? I know it may sound like I'm nitpicking that they're not giving a dog motivation, but they did in the first movie. It wasn't that hard. So they bring him back home to an all-original Mr. Merkle.
Hello?
Hello, sir. We, brought your dog back.
Goliath? How do you get out?
Oh, Mr. Merle named another one of his dogs after a Greek hero. Wonderful. On one hand, I'm glad to see that James Earl Jones is back to reprise his role as Mr. Merle. On the other hand, why would he come back to this garbage?
10 years ago, summer of '62, I believe, a bunch of kids lost a baseball in my backyard. Knocked down my fence, and all they had to do was come knock on the door, and I would have gotten it for them.
Great Smalls. You almost got me killed.
Way to go, Smalls.
Good job, Smalls.
I'll have all this junk cleaned out of here if you come around and give Goliath a walk twice a week. No more fences. I'm tired of kids thinking I'm grouchy.
Instead, he's gonna leave himself to be robbed blind.
I don't get it.
What are we doing? Boys, I swear, he's in love. That's his girlfriend.
That's why he's always wanted to get out. To visit her.
That is the stupidest motivation I've ever heard, even for a dog. It's bad enough that this dog was locked up for several years because he misbehaved and bit a child. But to say that his misbehaving and all this violence and that was for love because of sexual starvation for his girlfriend dog? That is stupid. That is just beyond stupid. At least he's not falling in love with a dolphin.
So that was the summer that David taught me the greatest lesson in life, that love conquers all, even your greatest fear. Mr. Goodfarer never found out I launched his rocket, but it didn't matter because his blueprints were America's future in space, not the model of the shuttle.
Thus destroying the subtle moral at the end of the first movie about owning up to what you've done. But you know what? I think this movie's ripped off The Sandlot quite enough by now. We don't need it to rip it off anymore.
Mac joined the Army after high school. He got wounded in the Gulf War, won a Purple Heart, and joined the Peace Corps.
I said you
Fingers and his
don't
brother
need
Saul
to rip
started a
it off
record label for a
anymore.
new kind of music called hip-hop. They named their company Def Jam Records. Tarkel was abducted by aliens on March 21st, 1986, and no one ever saw him again.
Stop it.
Haley and David went all the way through high school together. After that, they went their separate ways. 10 years after college, they met again.
Please, dear
At that
God,
meeting, just like the
stop.
first time he had ever had a chance to talk to her in grade school, David was so nervous he couldn't speak. So she spoke for him, and she said, "You're supposed to say, 'Will you marry me?'" And he did.
Another story. One we will never have to hear. Thank God this is over! The Sandlot is one of the movies I hold in my heart as a timeless classic. It's one that I would dare to call a perfect movie. Everything about it, the characters, situations, performances, music, all of it just falls into place phenomenally. It's a masterpiece. But The Sandlot 2, I just don't get it. What kind of crazy wasteland of zero creativity would allow the same movie to be made again just with different actors and a few twists to the... Oh, right, I forgot who I'm dealing with here. But this was put into motion by the guy who was behind the first Sandlot movie. And what director would want to go back to a work he had already done and just try to do it again? Okay, that one was good, I'll admit. But The Sandlot 2 is the epitome of wrong. Its characters are half-hearted archetypes of the original characters, and they fail desperately at doing that. The whole story is just the exact same plot of the first movie, and everything that is meant to be an original idea is either stupid or just bland and ineffective. The music is there to be 70s music, not to hold any relevance to the scene that it's being used for. What's more, I think the reason the first Sandlot was so good was because it reflected on fun times spent being a young boy playing ball with his friends. There was a sense of very powerful nostalgia to it. This movie was filmed based on taking the most awesome line from that movie and turning it into a practical joke. Some people out there have their Star Wars prequels. For me, this is the epitome of a sequel that should never have been made. Surprisingly, there are only 4 plot holes in this. 3 pitches were thrown and there was no strikeout on David. So why didn't the Sandlot boys instantly win that bet and banish the girls from the field? Is there some kind of playground rule of baseball where a pitch is nullified if it's a foul ball? Last time I checked, there wasn't. When telling of his own childhood Sandlot days, why didn't Scott Smalls tell Johnny that Mr. Myrtle actually turned out to be a nice guy? To be perfectly honest, I think the moral of making Johnny learn from his own mistakes rather than just telling him how to avoid him is a pretty decent moral. So, I'm okay with that. If the Great Fear was really just trying to get its girlfriend dog, why is it so violent as a result? Sexual starvation. And last of all, why did the Great Fear suddenly decide to be a good guy? Sexual starvation. God damn it! Yeah, Tyler, we're gonna have to postpone it.
You think?